Let's get all sorted. I'm James.
And I'm Jeff.
Today's episode is going to be small but powerful.
So you're saying it's a Mighty Micro episode?
Hello, Jeff.
Hey, James.
That was a ridiculous introduction.
We have people, if you want to peek behind the curtain, we have so much fun coming up with those really terrible opening bits.
Because we don't do planning.
No, for those. Every time we go, okay, let's record.
An improvised terribleness. But they tend to be shades of the same, so we try to mix them up.
We rejected one because you said, that's every one of our intros. And I said, I know. which is funny because, anyway.
So this week we're going to talk about Mighty Micros.
Mighty Micros.
And for show notes, anything else like that, head to breakingdads.com.
Breakingdads.com.
And thanks as always to our patrons. We very much appreciate the support. Helps pay the bills. It's awesome.
Just know that we heart you.
We do.
With heart emojis.
Heart emojis.
Or maybe a smiley face with heart eyes.
Yes.
But not eggplant. That's too much. We're not going to...
No. I had to look up... I left an emoji the other day for a thing. And I had to look up, like, how to... what... Because I don't use the emoticons. I rejected emoticons in the 90s.
So I love the fact that you call them emoticons.
Well, because that is what I left. It wasn't actually an emoji. It was an emoticon.
So your feeling towards emojis is the emoticon of the shrug guy?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, basically.
It's nice when we get to look inside our brains sometimes.
I don't use... Yeah, I like using words. Not symbols. I'm not in a symbolic. Yeah.
Everyone I work with is 20 years younger than me.
So the bulk of what they say is done with symbols.
They teach me words.
Wow.
So now I know that I can be lit AF, fam.
Wow.
And I say it as confidently as that. We're old, is I think what we're trying to say.
No, we're all about dad jokes.
But because we're dads, we have an appreciation for the Mighty Micros line
I think
as a theme.
Yeah, there's a good reason.
Yeah. People were asking us, what do we think of Mighty Micros? And why Mighty Micros?
And I think the first reaction you had wasn't as an aesthetic, it was as a dad, but we'll get into it. But it was funny. It was like, yeah, no, they have a place in my wallet.
Exactly. Lego often knows what it's doing. But let's take a look at how we got to Mighty Micros. So Mighty Micros are a couple of small vehicle builds with a couple of minifigures at a low price point. And I'm happy they exist because there was a time before Mighty Micros existed. Should we go back in time?
Dark ages. It
was all the way back in 2012.
Wow.
Lego was making Marvel and DC superhero sets. And for the Marvel sets...
Oh, you're going to tell me about the prices of these sets? Am I going to recoil in horror?
Lego had a $12.99 price point.
Okay.
$12.99, that's not bad.
No, and at that time, that probably seemed reasonable.
Yeah, I think $12.99 if you're a parent. So that's $12.99 US, and that's like, I don't know, what is that Canadian? $15 at that time?
Who knows?
Yeah, let's say $15, $16.
Yeah.
Yeah, the choice of living in Canada sometimes.
Yes.
So... when your children get invited to birthdays, they have to bring a present.
Right.
Seeing as my children are my children, Lego is always the choice.
Yeah.
It has nothing to do with getting 5% back at the Lego store for purchases we have to make anyway.
Absolutely, I'm sure it isn't.
And I never use those points on just my own Lego that my children aren't allowed to play with.
No, you use them on the next gift.
Absolutely not.
Yeah.
So $12.99, good price point. The problem with these sets, and we're going to look specifically at the Marvel sets, is they are, what's the word I'm looking for? Terrible. The word is terrible. They were terrible sets. So 2012 gave us 6865 Captain America's Avenging Cycle. So let's talk about the pluses on this set. It's got a Captain America minifig.
Yeah.
And then a couple of the Chitauri villains from the Avengers movie. I guess. And then and they've got some flick-fire missile rigs, which are set up to, I guess...
So they attempted some play.
Yeah, because you want to be able to shoot things and have Captain America...
He's swooshing around on his motorbike.
Yeah.
Now, what do you feel about the motorbike?
I mean, I like Lego motorbikes,
Yeah.
and I like superhero
It's not
Lego
the worst.
motorbikes. I think I'm going to have sort of a motorcycle parking area that'll be filled up with Avengers and Captain America motorcycles.
Does he have saddlebags in the back of that thing?
It does look kind of that. Like,
So is he going on a road trip? Is he a retired person?
It is more of a road bike
Yeah.
than an off-road bike for
Like,
sure.
It doesn't look like he's going to be doing like trixies off a wall with this thing. He's going to be like, well, I'm going down to Florida for the summer.
This is a big American-made motorbike for Captain America.
I
That's
guess
what it
so.
is.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah, and they're just going to shoot missiles at it.
Well,
And there's nothing going on here. There's no imagination in this set.
but at this price point, it's almost a polybag.
You're limited. I mean, it's 72 pieces,
Yeah.
which is well outside of polybag territory, I would say. But it's not. It's not.
Yeah. It's under good set territory.
It's under good. You can make a great set with 72 pieces.
Well,
this
I think
this is not that
we know
set.
you can now. But, so what else did they bring us?
Okay, so that was the only set at that price point.
Okay.
In the Marvel theme for 2012.
Ah.
Okay, in 2013. So
That was
2013 gives us the set.
what I like is that the superhero stuff gets you worked up. I like that. Like
really does.
Like you normally you would never have that reaction to a Lego set, but like, ugh. You're just like,
This one,
I feel physically ill, James.
well-
I've got to leave the room for a bit.
the set we're talking about is 76008, Iron Man versus the Mandarin Ultimate Showdown. And I think we've talked about this set before because I have a visceral hate of this set.
It looks like a vacuum cleaner.
It's a vacuum cleaner on a golf cart driven by a character that never existed in this form in the movies at all.
Yeah.
He's just fighting Iron Man, and and the reason I get upset about this set in particular is I literally was forced to buy this for a kid's birthday because my child said, I'm going to a birthday and I want to get him Lego and I want to get him superhero Lego. This was our choice within the budget.
Wow.
Yeah. I was like, I literally said we could get something that's not Lego. And my child looked at me and almost cried because it was that child. It's very sensitive.
The hardware store has a sale on bricks right now. We can get some of those instead.
Let's get some bricks. They can build their own. It's like Lego.
It's imagination.
You know, a little lay the bricks down, put a little grout.
Make a bridge to have fun.
Yeah.
But no.
But I had to buy this.
How does Iron Man feel intimidated by fighting the homeless dude with a Hoover?
Why would you build something that has fire right above your head as well?
That it seems like a poor choice.
Like
there's a lot of poor.
Some wind comes
Villains.
and your hair is gone.
Yeah, but villains don't read the newspaper. They haven't heard that that's a problem. So villains are all about they're the aesthetic. They're like, how cool do I look?
Yeah, no one ever looks at a villain and says,
Good life.
They've
choices.
made some good life choices.
No,
Yeah.
exactly. This villain actually, he looks like a member of a retro 70s rock band. He's like, I'm going to bring back, prog rock. And with his, not even prog, I don't even know. He's got the giant beard and I don't know this character at all.
He does look
so
like
I just read it as a thing and I go, Iron Man's fighting the homeless guy. That's what it looks like. You said this is supposed to be Ben Kingsley?
Ben Kingsley played this character in the movie. That's not a very good Ben Kingsley
It is not.
minifig, which is upsetting because it would be awesome to have a Ben Kingsley minifig.
He looks like a wrestler more than anything. I don't know. He's just like a lumberjacky kind of.
Right, yeah.
It's not-
If he was fighting Hacksaw Jim Dugan, he'd be like, yes.
That's right, exactly. This is a WWE villain, not a Marvel.
I think if any superhero saw a villain rolling towards them in whatever this thing is, they would feel more sorry for them than actually try to stop them.
They did ask, do I have to pay extra for you to do the bathroom, or is it you're just going to do the living room carpets?
They're gonna fly up to him and go, "Are you okay?"
Are you okay? Here's some money. Buy a better vehicle.
But I have bought this set.
Wow. But you bought it not for personal consumption.
I bought it twice. I did buy it for myself because this was when I was buying every superhero set.
Did you just need the minifigure?
I don't, and now I've got 7 trillion Iron Men.
Right.
And I don't have anything to do with the Mandarin. I don't know what he's gonna do.
Again, you can start that 70s rock band.
I think
it's going to be playing somewhere in the Lego City.
I do have the boxing ring in the diner, and it would be nice to put him against maybe like a custom Hulk Hogan
There you go.
and do the wrestling thing.
Do
That
the
might
wrestling
actually
thing.
be.
There's always a use.
That's good. You know what? At least now I have a purpose for this thing. The vehicle itself has never, ever, ever been put together by me.
Parts.
And it's never going to be put together.
Yeah.
And it's terrible.
It is.
It's terrible. So that was the only offering at the $12.99 price point for the Marvel superheroes
for that year.
For the year of 2013. I think we'll go down in history as a bad year for birthday parties.
All right,
across the world. And just when you think, well, that surely we've hit rock bottom.
Oh no!
2014
Don't
says.
Say it. Don't say it.
Hold on, I got something for you. And longtime listeners will know what's about to happen. 76014 Spider Trike versus Electro.
Yeah.
Now, upside, the Electro fig is awesome. It's a terrible character in the movie. Great minifig.
It is a cool minifig. I like the coloration.
Yeah, and you've got the translucent head and the translucent arms.
Yeah.
That does not happen very much.
No, it's cool. But Spider, whatever.
The Spidey Trike?
That, I don't know, man. I don't know.
There's nothing right with it.
No. There's parts put together for a part count, it feels like. Again, I feel for whoever was assigned this thing, and they're just like, oh, God.
And they tried to do something different.
Yeah.
You know?
Well, that's it.
It does not look like a golf cart.
No.
So it's got that going for it.
Well, and it was like, okay, I need a thing on wheels, and it needs to have that zoom. But then I need to do something different. I'm like, well, I've got the part count. I may as well try more wheels. But it just, no. It's hard not to relate these things to, like, real life.
Right.
And I think
which is always fun with superheroes.
Yeah, exactly. But also, it's hard to when the movie is in your mind. Like, if you really enjoyed this movie, when you have to relate this up against the movie, it's going to always fall short, but it's going to fall especially short at this part count. So it's a really hard thing to conjure some magic for the kids to play with, or for the collectors to enjoy when this is what I don't know.
But again, it's also not a trike.
No.
Very clearly 4 distinct wheels here.
It is a quad. Yeah.
It's just a quad designed for tipping over.
Yeah, exactly.
But then again, if you had a vehicle that was prone to tip over, I think Spider-Man's the right person to drive it, because with his spidey sense,
he
would know not to make the turn.
He could probably even have 2 wheels. We could probably trust him with that.
Right?
He could probably drive a unibike. He'd be fine.
This thing.
All right, so what year was that?
That was 2014.
Okay, now did 2015 bring us any mayhem?
2015, you know what? I actually like this one set. 76036 Carnage's Shield Sky Attack, because it's got Carnage, and it's got a cool looking Spider-Man, and it's got a Shield Agent, and you can never get enough Shield Agents.
What is that spy attack? What's going on there? What is that thing?
It's a shield hovering plane thing.
It's kind of cool.
Yeah, I agree. That's a nice build. The only thing I don't like about it is the little jumpy thing for the superheroes that they ran for a long time.
Yeah.
Which, when they first came out, could ruin your minifig's legs.
Oh.
Yes.
Oh, wow.
Yes. It was the tolerances were a little too tight on the back of it.
Wow.
And you know what? For kids, great play. Again, coming at it as an adult, it's always so weird to judge a toy.
It is.
I'm like, I don't want to put it in that and wreck my toy.
Yeah.
To make it jump, and also I don't need to make it jump, but I could definitely see kids having fun flinging their minifigs across the road. I mean, most of my kids' minifigs are missing arms and hands and have gone through way worse than the leg jumpy thingy.
Yeah. That's a cool the vehicle at least is more interesting looking.
This one was a success, I would say.
What's the part count on that?
97 pieces.
So a little bit more to work with.
Yeah.
Which it makes a huge difference. If you're going to, again, bridging that gap between being absolutely tiny or a full-fledged, tiny set. The other ones seem to be trying to do this weird middle ground of being neither a micro build or they weren't a polybag, but they weren't a set. This one feels more like a tiny set than it does a polybag, whereas the other ones were more polybag-ish.
So I agree. I think we've got one success through the years.
They were learning.
But because in 2015 they're like, oh no, we haven't released a terrible set, they said, no problem. We'll help you out with that. And so 76029 Iron Man versus Ultron. Now, the positive I will say here is you get 3 Ultrons, which if you're doing an army building, and I think this set exists purely for Ultron army building.
So because they gave you the extra minifigure or 2, you're not going to get a good vehicle.
I don't even know what the build is.
What is the...
It's a flying thing, Ultron thing.
Is it like a... The dude looks like he has antennas. Is that like a drone or something? Is that what that's supposed to be?
I think he's like a controller Ultron. I feel like, again, a lot of these sets are designed with sort of the outline of the movie.
Right.
And so, or for set pieces in the movie that say are going to happen that maybe get cut because of special effects budget or just timing. So I don't know. But I think the idea here is that the Ultrons are attached to the flying thing and then they fly off of it and fight. So the Ultrons are sort of part of the build.
They show it on it. So.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, with even the big Ultron is so it's sort of a reconfigured Ultron. I imagine we were supposed to see Ultrons in many different forms.
Right.
In the movie, but I don't remember that happening.
I have a shocking amount of ignorance when it comes to superhero movies, so I can judge these builds purely on like how interesting I find it. I have no concept of it in it as a movie, which I don't know is good.
So looking at this box, are you like, man, I want to play with that?
No.
It's
like, and the dude is clearly shooting Iron Man, but I guess he's iron, so it's okay to shoot things at him. So he's blasting him with some, I don't know,
like laser, it looks like.
Plasma blaster laser thingo. And then, the other dude is swooping in on a thing that, again, it looks like it has some sort of turret gun thing and I don't even know, like one side looks like a landing pad foot, and it's bad. Yeah, no, it's so confusing sometimes. It does, like, he's got a little steppy rail, so when he gets into it, he makes sure he brushes his feet off, and he doesn't slip.
Yeah,
that's always a good thing when you're a villain.
So build bad, 4 minifigs for $12.99. Good.
Yeah, exactly.
And there was also, was that even? Yeah, the Super Jumper. I thought I said Juniors on the side, but it said Super Jumper.
So this is
looking at boxes.
Now, was this the last one that they came up with before?
So that's the beautiful thing about that brings us to why these Mighty Micros exist.
Right. Okay.
Because that was the last $12.99 superhero set.
Yeah.
They started going with bigger builds starting around $20 or $15, $20 because the Mighty Micros exist. And they are glorious for the price for what you get. So why do Mighty Micros exist? Because birthday parties exist. Yeah. And sometimes you go to that birthday party, especially little kids, where everybody in the class was invited to the party.
Right.
Whether your son or daughter has ever spoken to this child ever.
Yeah.
And what do you know about them? I don't know.
They exist.
They exist. So you can combine superheroes and Lego. There's a very good chance that child will like one of those two things, if not both of those two things.
It's true.
So Mighty Micros, 2016, saving us from terrible, terrible underdeveloped builds that exist for price point. So let's go through them, shall we? So we'll start with the 76061 Batman versus Catwoman. This first set shows right away that they understand the property they're working with.
Yeah.
All of the Mighty Micros have the same chassis build for the vehicle. It's a very short wheel-based chassis. And then they decorate it.
Right.
And it's amazing the variety they can get out of it. So the pluses on this thing, the sense of humor is there. Catwoman has her jug of milk.
I was wondering, I was going to say, is that a jug of milk?
Of course it is.
Oh,
she's a cat.
Yeah.
And Batman is trying to, she's obviously just stolen a diamond.
I like that's front and center is a single diamond piece.
Yeah, they're like, here's the conflict.
Yeah.
The other beautiful thing about the Mighty Micros, no stickers.
Right.
So when you're dealing with smaller children, or if you're just looking for awesome parts, like the cat eyes on the front of the Catwoman's build here, fantastic. And I love the little cat head.
Oh, that's how that is. Yeah, that's cool.
3 pieces, you've got a cat head.
Weird tail piece.
Yeah, you gotta have the cat's gotta have a tail. The color's fantastic. It's got the spoiler. They understand the characters for sure. The Batmobile looks like a go-kart version of Batmobile.
I think these builds are not trying to be something that they're not. And I feel like that was a difficulty with the other builds, is that they seemed like they were trying to razzle-dazzle you in a different kind of way. And it's like, you're not trickseeing me. Like that, it just isn't a good set. Whereas these are like, hey, we're tiny, we're cute, look at this. And it's not trying to be anything it's not. It's like, we're minimal part count. I mean, what
79 pieces.
There you go, yeah.
And let's take a look, 79 pieces, and let's see. So Batman's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 pieces for Batman. You've got 1, 2, 3.
Is that including the cape?
4, 5 pieces, 6 pieces for Catwoman when you include her milk. Right? So,
utility belts?
Yeah. So we're down to, less than 70 pieces.
Yeah.
for the rest.
Yeah.
That's pretty impressive.
That is.
So that's Batman versus Catwoman, 76062.
So
Robin.
That kind of they set it up with that one.
Well, so the sort of whole first wave here in 2016, they just
Were these released all at once? Sorry.
yes, they all dropped at once.
Okay.
So it was a lot on store shelves all of a sudden. 76062, Robin versus Bane, and I like that the play is there right away. You get a hero, you get a villain, right, in every one of these sets. Mm-hmm. So even if they had no Lego before, they have no superhero sets, instantly you can play with it.
Yeah,
which is very nice.
And it's equitable in that they both have a vehicle. They both have you can play good and bad. You can have two kids actually playing. It's not one kid playing their own little adventure. It's, hey, we've got some antagonism here.
Absolutely. So I think the Robin versus Bane here also shows, because the first set they were wearing masks.
Right.
And this one here, it shows the art style for the Mighty Micros.
Robin's smarmy smile.
Smarmy smile, off-kiltered.
Cartoony.
Yeah, cartoony, anime-ish.
It looks more like Teen Titans Go than it does like serious adult.
Yeah, and that extends to the prints on the torso as well. You got the really oversized R on his torso, and the very cartoony looking belt. Bane has a giant B on his torso in case you forget that he's Bane.
Yeah.
And you can tell he's got sort of an eyebrow raised thing going on here, almost disbelief.
Well, he's disbelieved that the size of that dynamite is as big as his body.
That's true. You got a grapple hook and you got dynamite. I think
what else could go wrong?
It's fantastic. And again, as Lego understands their characters, so everybody gets their own little accessory to extend the play and show you the personality. I don't know when it was decided that Bane was going to be the guy who always rides around in a drill, but Dimensions he's in a drill. In one of the Batcaves, he's got a drill car. Weird. He's got a drill car here. And I get that he is, famous for being in the sewers and breaking Batman's back, but drills? He's not Mole Man.
Yeah, exactly. He's not a subterranean dude.
Yeah, he lived in prison for a long time.
Maybe that was his dream. He was always like, I gotta escape. And then, so now he's gonna have drills all the time.
Could be.
Drills are a weird, I guess, but if they give him a thing, that's not a bad thing. There's consistency, I guess, along all the different versions. And
you gotta give him credit for building a drill car out of so few parts.
Yes.
I don't know about the lime green. Actually, if I was gonna change something, he's known more as a red guy.
Yeah,
than a lime green guy.
But so is Robin, and then you couldn't have two red vehicles, and that's the thing. Mm-hmm. This would be a fire truck set if they went with all
black
that.
and white, maybe.
Yeah, but that doesn't have pizzazz. Also, that doesn't have the poppy color, like the joyful poppiness. Because on the box, this is going to be like pow.
It's true.
And then this also says really fun, because it's those the colors of fun.
Overall, I'd have to say this is one of my least favorites. There's not as much going on here.
Yeah.
Robin's car it's really unremarkable. It's a straight up go-kart.
Yes.
Right? There's not a lot going on there.
You get that nice spoiler, the big R on it.
Yeah. Another beautiful printed piece. Overall, there's less printed pieces on this one than you got with the Catwoman set. But I really like that Robin.
That's a cute Robin.
It's a really cute Robin. And again, because I'm one of the few adults that likes Teen Titans Go, I'm all for it.
Teen Titans Go is funny.
It's
my
because
daughter loves it. I never watch it, and I've seen it, and I've just went, well, that's actually quite clever.
Because it replaced a more adult version of Teen Titans is why people that are probably too old to be complaining about cartoons.
Right.
And I'm in that group.
Yeah.
I really, really, really liked the other Teen Titans show.
Huh.
And it got replaced by one because younger kids spend more money on toys. Like these.
Yes.
76063, The Flash versus Captain Cold. This is one of my favorites.
Well, you get a snowplow.
Get a snowplow.
Very Canadian.
With using a snowboard as the plow.
That's clever usage.
And it's Zamboni looking snowplow too.
Yeah,
it's got a lot going on. Captain Cold's got a nice grimacy look on him. He's got a pretty cool cold gun, which you've got to have. And I like that the Flash has an energy drink.
I think the important part, while the Batman and Catwoman had a diamond to tussle over, this time they're tussling over an ice cream cone. How petty are these two?
You know what, though? You got to hand it to the Flash for keeping it fair by only having a rocket-powered roadster instead of running.
This is true.
Now, he can't actually run because he has the small legs that don't move.
Oh, yeah.
So, I guess in that way...
He can drink all the power drinks he wants, but it's not going to help.
I love this Flash torso, too. There's something about the symbol being so big, the lightning bolts on the bottom.
Yeah.
It's got a lot going on.
Cute helmet.
Cute helmet. The energy drink is fantastic. The Flash logo on the car front. There's a lot going on this. This was my favorite of the first wave for sure. I enjoyed building this one a lot.
And again, there's the nice, with all of them, you're seeing the color contrasts. You know, you started with black, purple, you got the green, red, and you got the red, blue. Like, they're very bright, very, very, a lot of primary type color, very, very catchy.
For sure.
Definitely going to appeal to young ones.
Which is, that's the goal. So let's move into the Marvel ones from 2016. We have 76064 Spider-Man versus Green Goblin. So I do like that they said, no, it's always going to be cars, but it doesn't mean the cars have to be cars.
Right.
Right? Because one of the most famous vehicles in the Marvel world, I would say, is Green Goblin's glider. They've kind of got it here.
Yeah.
You know, it's interesting dimensions to work with, but it's I think they've given it sort of a glidery feel.
Yeah, I think
for something with wheels.
Yeah.
And then, for whatever reason, Spider-Man is famous for his spider copter. I guess that 60s cartoon.
You know those vehicles that it's like a boat that has wheels that you drive into the water from, you know, like
oh yeah,
the old
like the duck boat.
Yeah, that's what I feel like most of these vehicles are. They kind of have that weird vibe, like the glider with wheels underneath. You're like, it looks improbable. It doesn't look like it's going to do any gliding, just like those boats. The car, you're like, it doesn't look like a car or a boat. Oh my gosh, it's floating. You know, and someone's driving across a lake. You're just like, that's ridiculous. And it works.
I would say, yes, there's definitely, the designers have embraced the ridiculousness of it, of the whole concept, and are really distilling ideas down to very few parts.
And then look at the faces again on these ones. Green Goblin's got he's like berserker. He's like a little gnome that's gone crazy. And
which I think is a fair description of his character.
I think so. Yeah, he's got to be a few screws loose. And then Spider-Man, who's got that whole like one giant eye. Like I disbelief.
You can almost hear the sarcastic quip coming from Peter Parker's mouth.
Exactly. So they nail. I really do like the faces on these. If I had a favorite bit of all of them, it's the heads on these minifigures.
For sure. Hats off to the art department at Lego for really going whole hog on these.
They hammed it up.
They really did. Yes.
It's very like over the top silly. But again, yeah, very Teen Titans Go, and I like that kind of aesthetic. What is again, as the vehicle builds, I do prefer the Goblin thing, the glider.
The glider?
I like the glider over the copter. That copter,
it's really basic.
It is. It's almost too basic.
A lot of, I think part of it is too, most of the vehicles have integrated the wheels into the build, you know, or hidden them. Like the glider, you're kind of hiding them a little, but it feels like it's a full vehicle.
Yeah.
Whereas the copter, it looks like the copter just sort of landed on a trolley.
And that, like, whatever the 3-part copter rotor, it just looks too simplified. Like, whereas there's a lot of funky little parts put together, like in these micro builds. Yeah. Whereas that just seems kind of like a tube. It's almost the size of the rest of the vehicle. So it's like two. But I mean, what are they going to do?
And also, because the legs don't bend and they can't sit the minifigs.
Yeah.
They need the height on the rotator.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. There's nothing they could do about it.
Again, any complaints we have about these. When you compare any of these vehicles to what the Mandarin was driving,
that's it.
One set,
we're about a $10 set,
or the Spider, exactly, a $10 set with 2 minifigs, pretty good. The 76065 Captain America versus Red Skull. This is another one of my favorites, mostly because they did a good job replicating the Red Skull tanky thing from the Red Skull big set down into Mighty Micro scale.
Huh.
So I think it's very basic. If you're looking at it with no frame of reference from the other set, right?
Yeah, exactly.
And so you're like, unremarkable?
Yeah, it's ugly.
It's ugly.
I don't like that olive color looks, it all looks murky. Like the windshield and that olive color look kind of, I don't know. And Captain America, that's a tank of some kind?
Yeah, it's a tank. A big Captain America tank.
It's kind of cool. And also, it's weird. I don't know. I like the character. I like the minifigures on this one more.
I hate this Captain America.
He looks kind of bonkers.
He looks cartoony. Like there's something about the thick lines on the torso. It looks drawn on.
In this case, you don't want the cartoony.
No, I think because, I don't know. And then there's just something about the face that just seems off.
He seems kind of maniacal. Like he's kind of lost his mark. Like he's been pushed over an edge. Whereas the Red Skull, He's like, nah. He's like an oldie timey. He needs a cigar.
He's angry, and
Hanging out in a
I actually
speakeasy.
I think his works. His face works.
Yeah, I'm gonna get you, Captain America.
And they're going after the cosmic cube, the MacGuffin from the first Avengers.
No idea.
What do they call it now? Tesseract. That's it.
You're talking a lot of words. I always think to myself, I should really go and watch all of these movies. And then I think there's too many now. There was a point at which I thought I could do this, and then we passed that point.
It's funny. A lot of people don't read comic books because they can't. It's too much to dive into. And I agree. I think we've hit that critical mass on the movies now, where you feel like I can't go see Ant-Man and the Wasp.
I got to commit a week.
Yeah.
To like educating myself on on movies I really don't want to see.
No.
So I no, it's too much. It's gone too far. It's too far. It's like a TV show, a popular TV show that's like on its 8th season, and you're just gonna dive in now. That's what I feel like. I was like, really? Do I want to?
Whereas a British show, you're like, fine, 8 seasons, that's like 40 episodes.
Yeah, that's like 2 seasons of an American show.
Yeah.
I can handle that, but no.
No, 8 times 36. Forget it. It's not going to happen. But there's Cap. There's Red Skull. I like them. Up next, 76066, Hulk versus Ultron.
No, I don't like it.
It's because the Hulk car has big Hulk fists from the actual Hulk maxi fig.
That's too much. They've gone too far.
They've gone too far?
Hey, you know, it's kind of cute in its ridiculousness. Again, if I look at this from a purely cute point of view, that's pretty cute.
It's an engine with fists.
Yeah, it is an engine with fists. It's ridiculous. And Hulk looks, again, kind of like he's in his Hulk berserker rage, which fits. And he has a drumstick because Hulk gets hungry.
Yeah.
Hulk angry Hulk hungry.
You would not like Hulk when he's hangry.
No.
That's for sure.
And the other dude's, he's like, yeah, just give me a minute. I got some work to do on this thing because I got a wrench.
Well, because he's mechanical.
He's
got sort of a mechanically spidery vehicle. I don't know. I think they did a good job on this one. Purple and green and silver and black. I mean, you can't really go wrong.
No. Yeah, no, I can't complain too much about it. You know what? It does the job. And I don't know Ultron at all. So I don't know.
See, Ultron is a robotic defense force that Tony Stark was trying to create when he realized the Avengers couldn't be everywhere all at once. Also, when he was grappling with his own mortality from almost dying in the
is this
original
an AI
Avengers.
then?
It's an AI. It's actually an AI.
No way it could go wrong.
An AI developed from the mind gem, which is what Loki used to mind control different people in the first Avengers
Clearly
movie.
a good choice.
Yes.
Elon Musk wouldn't have warned Tony Stark at all about this.
Yeah, it's one thing to develop your own AI. It's another to use some alien artifact
that you kind
as
of
the
understand.
basis. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, but it gave us vision when Ultron tried to create his own body out of vibranium. Anyway.
Man, you're selling me on this.
So that was 26. So that was that's the first year of Mighty Micros.
That's a good run.
It's a good run. It's a very good run. And then they took that, and I think they really grew with the following year, 2017. That's how years work sequentially. So let's dive back into DC. 76068, Superman versus Bizarro. First off, I think they nailed it because they took Bizarro is the reverse Superman.
Yeah.
They took the vehicles and literally flipped them around.
They did. I like that. You see the fisty looking things on the front of this one. Yeah, no, that's clever.
It's fantastic, is what it is.
And I like Bizarro as a minifig.
It's a nice minifig. This one.
He looks like it's a zombie minifig
for sure. I'm. There's no doubt that head has been repurposed for a field of zombies in somebody's.
Yeah, no, I don't even like Superman, and I like this one. Although again, I like the Bizarro more. Superman, whatever. Again, he looks like
he's got the properly snarky look.
Yeah.
On him, because one thing we have to remember is that Superman's a jerk,
right? And Bizarro is just like, yeah, okay, Bizarro.
He's just sitting there going, "Me not Bizarro."
Yeah, I like that. And they're little whatever those crystals are.
They're like it's how Superman talks to Marlon Brando.
Oh, right. Okay.
Yeah,
I like that. That's a reference. You assume I've seen the first one and probably nothing else.
Yeah,
I like that's good. Take me back.
To be fair, most people are in the same boat as you.
Yeah, that's true.
I'm sure the next Superman movie will be really good.
I don't even know. Is this a reference to a thing that's going to happen?
There's always a Superman movie.
Oh.
They're always working on it.
Okay.
Or ruining it.
Yeah.
One of those two. Hey, let's look at 76069, Batman versus Killer Moth. Now, first off, Killer Moth is a character that deserves to be in more sets.
That's a colorful bug wagon. I like it.
They nailed it. Does that not look like a moth?
It actually, well, it looks like his eye flies and an eye snoot, like it's like going to vacuum up stuff.
Okay.
It doesn't look mothy to me. It looks like a fly, but I like it.
You're still drawn to it.
I'm still drawn to it. It's
Like a moth to a
like
Killer Moth set?
something shiny like this. Yeah.
Yeah.
The Copter, they kept to the same other set.
Retro Copter, though. It's the retro Batcopter. It's got the bubble window, which you need to have.
I like Batman looks earnest, even though he's in a ridiculous vehicle. He's like, doesn't matter. Like, he's just like, whatever, but, I'm going to still roll with this. I'm going to get the bad guy. Doesn't matter what I'm driving.
And at least it wasn't the same black-suited Batman from the first set.
Right, so they give us the retro Batman.
Retro-y.
Retro-ish. Yeah, I like
a lot of imagination
Killer
going
Moth
on there.
is cute, though. Like, again, some of these sets, you could put your hand over the hero and just give me the villain. And I actually like the villains on most of these sets more than the heroes.
I feel like everybody always like the same with what's the difference in a really good superhero movie and a really bad superhero movie is the villain. Almost always. Yeah. Right? 76070, Wonder Woman versus Doomsday. Well, first off, if you're doing Wonder Woman, you're going to do the invisible plane.
Right.
And they did that, so that's lovely.
Yeah.
And then Doomsday is sort of bony and overbuilt, and it's working. It's working overall. I really like the Doomsday figure. The Wonder Woman figure herself, whatever. Mm-hmm. But the invisible plane
that's the star of the show.
They did a good job.
Yeah.
It's iconic. It looks like a plane. It looks invisible. That works. And Doomsday, it's just a lot of bony, rocky. Yeah, I think they nailed it. I can't complain. I can't complain about this one. I mean, I could, but I'd be a jerk if I did. It's upsetting that we have the Doomsday Mighty Micro figure, but we don't have a Doomsday Big Fig. Just that exists as a thing. There should be.
And this one they gave 85 pieces, so a couple more pieces.
Yeah.
Although that the Superman versus Bizarro was 93. Just looking,
there's a lot of pieces in that.
They're climbing up.
I mean, it comes down to how many little pieces end up in the set.
Yeah, that's true. So what did they follow this with?
Well, now let's get into the Marvel ones now, because I think there's some nice builds going on here. 76071, Spider-Man versus Scorpion. This might be my least favorite set. Again, they're trying to do an iconic, weird Spidey vehicle, the Spider Buggy.
It doesn't.
It looks kind of like a Dune buggy, but it also looks kind of like...
I think they gave him a big spider to make up for it.
I'm assuming the spider's biting him. And the spider was radioactive?
Or is he going to throw it at Scorpion?
Wouldn't that just be feeding Scorpion?
Maybe. And Scorpion, yeah, he's running like some industrial John Deere machinery, is what I feel like.
I think what upsets me here is that there's no tail on the vehicle.
Oh,
it's got the claws.
He's got the tail.
Yeah, and you put him in, and I guess the idea is that his tail is the tail.
Right. But yeah, it would look like that, because it wouldn't make sense if you put him in with the tail and a tail on the vehicle. That's totally, you're right. That's what they did.
I think instead of a big giant engine, they could have done more of a mouth-like structure.
Right, instead of the blower.
Or the Scorpion.
So it's a one-piece thing.
Yeah.
So it's only 79 pieces. They had a couple more that they could have worked with.
They could have worked with, yeah. It's not terror. Again,
no.
I would take that spider buggy over the Mandarin or a weird rocket launcher rock from the previous. Well, the vehicle less expensive superhero sets.
It has some play to it in that the arms, you can move the arms on the vehicle.
Yes.
So it's got that going for it, which is kind of different. So the vehicle is a little bit more dynamic.
Sure.
But
let's go with that.
I don't know.
That's a pass for me, and especially compared to the rest of these the Marvel sets from that year. Like 76072 Iron Man versus Thanos. First off, props for the retro Iron Man look. Really like that. I could almost hear Stan Lee's voice.
It's like his face, the Iron Man, the Tony Stark face is like, it's like the face, like if you get one of those like how to draw cartoon people books and the artist has drawn a little caricature of themselves up in that upper corner of like, tell you, and this is how we're going to do it. That's what that face looks like. It's kind of like, it's not sneering. It's kind of I'm having a blast over here. This is a good time. I don't know where it's going. It's weird. It's inquisitive yet smarmy. It's a weird look.
I'm with you.
I like it as a look. It's kind of, I guess maybe it's arrogant. Maybe that's a look.
Yeah, I'd say that's what he's going for there.
And then Thanos is just like ear to ear grin.
Well, there's a reason Thanos is happy. If you look at his ride there, it's an Infinity Gauntlet. Great design on this, but it also has all of the Infinity Gems.
Oh,
Right. So the beautiful thing about this car is it's never stuck in traffic because when he drives it, half the traffic is eliminated.
why is that?
Because he's got the full Infinity Gauntlet. And
I don't know
with
what they do.
Snap of his fingers, he gets rid of half the population of the universe.
Is that what happens?
Yeah, that's his dream.
Man, why don't I know this?
To make things better for the survivors by eliminating. Then there's less competition for resources.
Wow, it's
and
dark.
It's really dark.
Thanos is very dark.
Thanos is very dark. Yeah, a genocidal maniac. Yeah, it's dark. Weird, huh? Never would have thought that.
It's darker than I would have thought. It's a good theme for Mighty Micros.
But I love that build. That gauntlet build is very, very nice.
It is flashy too. They've stuck with it by sticking to the bright yellow and red, and then the gold. It's very flashy. It's got a lot of pizzazz to it.
Pizzazz. I think that's what they're going for with this one. Next up, 76073, Wolverine versus Magneto, and this will continue the theme of spending more time on the villain's vehicle than the hero's vehicle.
It's a magnet. I didn't even notice that before.
It's a magnet.
So I was like, that build is kind of but then
you look at it,
and
like, wait a second.
No, that's pretty good. I don't mind Wolverine's. I kind of like his little wolf chest.
Well, they're doing the Black Hawk. Is that what they call it? I can't remember what it's called. I think they did a good job translating the 90s X-Men cartoon.
Yeah.
Into dune buggy style, go-kart style.
Yeah. No, I this one's all right. Again, if you like these characters, there's some fun here.
Mm-hmm.
It's a cute Wolverine.
I don't like it's a cute Wolverine. The side mouth placement on a 3D object doesn't work, especially with his sideburn coming down the other side and filling in that negative space.
Yeah.
And it makes the mouth look almost too far off. And it might be
But they wanted that weird sneer that he does.
Yeah. And they couldn't put a cigar in his mouth. They knew that.
Right. Yes. Oh, right. Yeah. Children.
Yeah. But this is adorable.
And it's cool that they give him 2 garden utensils. Just kidding. I know what those are, Jeff. Don't worry. They also do look good, like garden utensils.
I wonder if Wolverine does garden. You know,
He'd
like you
be
feel
good
like
at
he'd
it.
need.
Man, he would be
like with all the cigar smoke. You'd want some green in your house to sort of take some of that away. You know,
I think so.
You don't want to smell like an ashtray.
He has a adamantium thumb. Is that what he has?
Adamantium thumb. Yes, pruning would be a cinch. That's for sure.
That's it. He's the hedge guy. Hey, Wolvie, you want to come over here and touch these up for me?
I think you're thinking of Edward Scissorhands.
That's true.
Yeah, you might be. But you know who's not Edward Scissorhands? This is our greatest transition in the history of transitions.
Sandman.
You're right, Sandman and the Scarlet Spider, 76089. Let's take a look. As we've now moved into 2018.
No, I don't like this one.
You don't like this one?
I don't know. Again, I'm not a Spidey guy, but maybe if you're... The Spider-Man outfit is kind of cool.
It's because it's not Spider-Man, it's Scarlet Spider.
Well, Scarlet Spider. Okay, sorry.
Don't ask me. These are characters I don't know. I just know that they are not the same.
I do like there's a little sandcastle in the back of Sandman's vehicle.
It's a lovely detail, isn't it?
That is a cute detail. You know what? I shouldn't knock it. I like that detail a lot.
It's a dump truck full of sand.
Yeah, and they did that with so few parts. So that was a clever idea of coming up with that. Scarlet Spider, I don't know the vehicle or the purpose. I like that it's like spider fangs on the front.
Sure, yeah.
And so they tried to make it look spidery.
Spidery.
They gave it some zoom ability there with the...
It looks fast.
Yeah, it does look fast. So, but a shovel, I don't understand what that's about. And maybe they're working on a...
because he's sand.
Public works
so
project.
He's going to dig them.
Oh, I see.
Yeah.
Right, okay.
Yeah.
Sure.
Come on, stick with the conflict here.
Again, I think if I knew this, it would be closer to my heart. But I do like that little truck.
It's a nice little truck, isn't it?
Once again, I like the villain.
Yep. The trend continues. Let's move on to 76090, Star-Lord versus Nebula.
The cassette tape, though.
That cassette tape.
Yeah.
I know. It's a part you want now, isn't it?
Yeah, that's pretty cool. How many people got this just for the printed cassette tape?
I couldn't think of one person.
Is that a printed part available in other sets?
I think there's a cassette in one of the Milanos, but I can't remember. I think it might just be the reel-to-reel old style.
We could look this up, but we're not going to.
I could if I could find my Milano right now. If I wasn't in the midst of moving, having things still boxed up. But I don't think it was this very the art design on that is a very specific cassette tape. Is that Magnavox that did that with the red?
Oh, wow.
The sort of gradient.
That's a...
Maxwell. Might have been Maxwell. The company that promoted itself with the guy who was getting blown off his chair because of the sound fidelity.
Because the sound was so intense. Oh my gosh, deep cut.
Anyway, great vehicles. I mean, that looks like the sort of Sakaran ship from the villain ship.
It's in one set, this piece.
One set, there you go.
Flat tile 1x2, number 210.
Yeah, and it's $10 only. And you get a bunch of other stuff. The little mini Milano spaceship that Star-Lord is driving.
That's cute.
Great job. It looks like Milano in very, very few parts. And I like the torso on Peter Quill, on Star-Lord there.
Yeah, no, this is... and they're both... I like, again, I do like the villain's vehicle better. I think
really? I like them a lot. This is one where I like the hero's vehicle because I have more of a...
I have no idea what this is supposed to be.
It's his spaceship, the Milano.
I don't know.
Named after Alyssa Milano. I know you've seen this movie because I lent it to you before I remembered that you don't let your kids watch his
right, Guardians of the Galaxy?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, okay. Oh, yeah.
His ship is named after Alyssa Milano.
I didn't even catch that.
Because he was kidnapped from Earth in the 80s.
Right, of course. Right, and that makes that blew right by me.
It's all right there, man.
That was a good movie. I enjoyed that.
It really stuck with you.
That was years ago, dude.
That was years ago. That's true. That one's a win. There's everything I like about that.
Yeah.
If I was a kid and I'd seen Guardians of the Galaxy and I got that as a birthday present.
Totally.
If I got 5 of them as birthday presents, I would be happy.
Yeah.
Look at my Lego tape collection, you'd say. Up next, 76091, Thor versus Loki.
I don't give a hoot about these characters, but I actually do like these little builds.
I enjoy that the designers are like, well, let's just do their hats.
Yes.
Let's make cars out of their hats.
Exactly. That's it. They got car hats, cats. Yeah, they totally got it. I like that ram vehicle. That's very cute. I like the flying wings. The blower on the front. It's just ridiculous.
And the lightning coming out of it as well. And it would be lightning powered.
Exactly.
Why would you need a blower if you're lightning powered?
I have no idea. It cool it on.
Do you want to air cool the lightning? I guess you need the electrons. Is it just?
It just gets crazy hot.
But
they do look like these. Instead of looking like little doom buggies, these look like chariots,
yes.
which is suitable.
Absolutely.
So that's a nice touch. And the minifigures are cool. I like Tor's, his face is just so, he's just got rage.
Yeah.
If this was a game, you would play the rage card right now, and he's just going to go into a crazy blood rage. And Loki just looks mischievous.
Exactly. There's definitely a god of mischief. That's a word. Mischief. He's the god of mischief as well as mischief.
It's good. I like that. It's a cute build.
Adorable. Let's check in on DC here. We've got 3 sets left, all DC.
I don't like the look on Harley Quinn's face.
Okay, so 76092, Batman versus Harley. I like the tongue out. I think it's adorable. I think it's very her.
I guess so. That's true. I like the giant hammer.
The color scheme, the color blocking is fantastic, and the little wind up part of it.
I love that detail. That's a great detail. So simple. I just love when they put that one little detail on, and then you're just like, "Yep, that's it." And the Batman,
exactly. This does not look like a Batmobile. Oh, I guess it's supposed to be a Batwing.
It looks like a cockroach.
It's a Batwing. That's what they're trying to do. The plane.
Really?
Yep. It's got the wings out the side.
Nah.
That sort of front.
I guess
it's not a Batmobile.
No, it's true.
They're not evoking a Batmobile, which is weird because there's been like 75 versions of the Batmobile that they could riff on.
Yeah. I don't know, man. Yeah, no, I don't care but her vehicle is awesome.
It's simple but effective.
Yes, exactly.
I think that we just sum up the whole line.
Yeah.
Simple but effective. Next up is one of my favorites, Nightwing versus the Joker, 76093. Come on, it's a little mini ice cream truck with a big giant smile on the front, and he's holding a popsicle, and he's going to shoot an ice cream cone.
They pulled that off. I think, again, and Nightwing, I don't know. I don't know Nightwing, and I don't care about that vehicle at all, but I like that Joker vehicle.
Yeah, Nightwing's one of my all-time favorite characters, and there's nothing about this minifig I like, and there's nothing about his build I like.
Is it the same kind of head as Robin?
Yeah, well, Nightwing is Robin.
Oh, is he?
It's the original Robin.
I honestly have no idea.
The original Robin became Nightwing.
What?
Yeah.
I didn't.
In the 80s.
Okay.
Dick Grayson.
Well, this all makes sense.
Dick Grayson is kind of like the boy who lived.
Yeah. Okay.
He made it through.
There we go. Man. Well, I've learned a lot. Honestly, I can joke about my ignorance, but yeah, I know nothing about comic books post late 90s, especially, but like mainstream comics in the 90s even I didn't read.
But I feel like you know more about, like, say, I don't know, 19th century German philosophers than I do. So we all have our blind spots.
That's true. We all have our blind spots. But I like the Joker here.
I like the Joker. I like the look. It's sort of a halfway between the Batman movie Joker and the Batman, the 90s, 80s Batman? The Michael Keaton Batman.
Yeah.
The Jack Nicholson.
He's suitably ridiculous here.
Yeah.
The big bow.
Again, I'm not a fan of the mouth seems too offset.
Yeah, it is. Again, it's the same issue I had with the Harley Quinn tongue. They are weirdly offset. And I think you got it. It said it's the 3D look on a 2D object. It looks sometimes a bit odd. I do, based on our hair episode, the hair has made all the difference in their ability to pull off sets like this. Because
for sure.
A lot of the look is in the hair on these things. Like when the minifigure is a star of the show, if you don't have the hair, you don't have the thing. Right. And they couldn't have pulled this line off before they really started going wild with the hair.
I would definitely say when you get a minifig and you look at it and you go, it's not right. It's not the print. It's not the face, generally. It is the hair.
Yeah, if they get the hair right, wow. We saw the Joker. Yeah, he looks good.
It's not the Joker anymore.
Yeah.
So that leaves us with one set. And this is 76094, Supergirl versus Brainiac. And I love this one.
This is cute. I like it. I like both of them on this one. Her vehicle, I don't know, but the magnifying glass.
See, the reason she has the magnifying glass is because of what Brainiac is holding.
What is that?
That's the city Kandor, which was shrunk down to miniature size and taken from Krypton before Krypton was destroyed, as Brainiac is a collector of species and cultures across the universe.
Okay.
Maybe even the multiverse. I'm not sure if they've extended him in the multiverse. So that is the city that she grew up in.
So
miniaturized. So she's going to visit her parents with the magnifying glass.
That's hilarious. She won't accidentally burn them to a crisp?
No, if she wanted to burn it, she could just use her eyes and do it.
I thought if she stands in the sun, she might inadvertently do it.
And she does need to stand in the sun.
I'm so sorry.
As long as it's a yellow sun and not a red sun.
Lore. I don't know.
That's basic Superman lore.
I don't know any of it.
Red sun depowers him, yellow sun powers him.
What?
See, because Krypton was surrounded by a red sun, but the yellow sun of Earth is what powers Superman. He's basically a giant solar battery for yellow.
Now that you've explained it to me, it makes so much more sense. Yeah. Oh my gosh. I'm glad I've learned a lot on this episode, but I also feel like it's information I'm going to expunge the minute I leave your house.
No, for sure. If you hold on to this, I would feel bad. You would I don't know the name of my children anymore, but I do know that Superman needs a yellow sun.
But as for this build, if I just took it independently, I like his little build. Is Kandor, whatever Kandor, or not Kandor, Brainiac is. I like Brainiac's whole thing. I like that print on the front. That's kind of creepy looking.
Because he's in a giant skull with a dome top.
Yeah.
That's sort of his ship.
I like that. I like that weird mouth print. Yeah, it's again, the villains got the good stuff. But then the heroes, they have a good item. And there's a lot of, it's the balance on these sets is interesting.
Yes.
What I love is that these are sets that you feel like weren't a rushed idea of somebody sitting at a desk being given an assignment at Lego and having to come up with a thing, and they'd be like, okay, we got this, here's your part limit, and then them trying to work it in. These feel like each one of these things was reduced down to like a little bit of perfection, and then they brought them and they all sat around and they all just really, really thought hard about this. Like, I feel like there's so much thought that went into these sets. Did you represent this, and this within 79 pieces?
Yes.
And I feel like there's more love and affection for the characters and the mythos and everything than there is in some of the larger sets. They're not just trying to create a price point, but they're trying to create a little story or something here.
I think that might be part of it too. One of the problems with the less expensive superhero sets before these came along was they were trying to take a piece of an epic story, the movie or whatever, some sort of piece of the real world, and distill it down into something small. And it's hard to do that. Whereas these are problem solving, how do we do Brainiac's ship in 26 pieces?
It's almost like you're not building down, but you're building up. Mm-hmm. You're starting with almost nothing. They're like, you need wheels.
Yeah, here's your chassis. It's all the same.
We're taking some parts from you with the chassis. Here you go. You've got less than you thought you had. Now build up.
Yeah.
And maybe that's the micro build kind of challenge. It's a different kind of challenge. You're not reducing something down.
Mm-hmm. And because these are always only going to be reflective of that final thing.
Yeah.
If they do Brainiac's ship, which they did before, and I thought they did quite well, But if you do it wrong, you can see what's missing.
Right.
Whereas
This isn't attempting to be a literal representation. It's
you
like
just have to give the idea.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly.
So it gives the idea of Brainiac's ship, or it gives the idea of an ice cream truck.
Without trying to literally represent all the bits of it.
Whereas if you tried to do a $12.99 Joker's ice cream truck set with a hero in his own vehicle,
Yeah.
it's going to be terrible.
I like now that we've kind of deep dived on these sets, I like them. I thought some of them were cute before, and I hadn't really thought too much about them. But I have a lot more respect for them and like them more than I did previously. Like there's definitely some of them I'm like, yeah, that's really, really cool. I love the detail and the amount of design thought that went into it. It impressed the heck out of me. Again, I think we were talking about before is these remind me a lot of Dimensions, of what they attempted with some of the Dimensions stuff. The little micro approach to, a lot of things that we really know and love, and then or people that know about popular culture and know and love. But then they took it and they did such a great job of adapting it.
Yeah, for sure. And with Dimensions coming out in 2015, I could definitely see that
The influence was
because they were building those micro builds already. So
they
it was
learned
like,
a lot in that process, probably.
Yeah, although the different designers, they were there. I think building small versions of things that give the idea. That's already a skill they have. If you're working at Lego, you have that skill.
Yeah.
For sure. I think it just gave them maybe an impetus of what if we built it so that they could ride it? What would that look like? What would we need to do? Then they had to develop that chassis part and sort of go from there.
Yeah. Yeah, I'd be really intrigued to hearing from Lego designers to hear their perspective on how they've approached the past decade here of doing micro builds and of taking popular culture, taking these licenses and working with this material. That's one thing I would like to hear more about actually is just from actual Lego designers, how it's all changed for them in the past, 10, 15 years. Because it seems like there's been a big change that's happened in that stuff.
Yeah, I think the Lego aesthetic has evolved a lot. And it's evolved more over the last 10, 15 years than it did over the first 35 years.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's interesting.
It must be an exciting time to be a Lego designer.
I would hope any time is.
Well, yes. No, that's true.
You don't hear from disgruntled Lego designers. And I'm sure there were people that went in and washed out.
Yeah, or it wasn't for them in the end. Or
but
I don't know.
It's the same thing with Saturday Night Live.
Yeah, that's true. There you go.
You don't hear a lot of disgruntled writers. There's people that it didn't fit.
Yeah,
but nobody.
Once you achieve your dream, you're still happy you achieved the dream. And I wonder if there is. I have no idea in terms of how they assign work or how people work on stuff. Whether there's people that work on such a wide variety of styles or types, or if they keep the micro. People that are very good at designing for micro tend to stay or do a lot of the work at that scale, or if they have people that do larger sets, smaller sets. I'm curious about that kind of stuff at Lego. I have no idea, but I'm just curious how much it stretched them as designers. They have
divisions for the different themes, right? As that I've seen, there are people that have worked across different themes, but for the most part, you're assigned a portfolio. Right, there's a group that does the custom minifigure, the collectible minifigures. There's a group that does the superhero stuff. So in that way, creator
expertise within those specific areas.
Yeah. So that's, and I think you're hired in. And again, things change, portfolios change. If you were working on Nexo Nights, you're doing something else now because Nexo Nights doesn't exist.
It's got to be more exciting though, in terms of you have more options if you wanted to be able to transition into doing something else down the road. There's now more. Just the breadth of things is greater than it would have been, say, in the 80s. You'd be like, I'm going to do space, or I'm going to do castle. Now,
but at the same time, I'm sure as the teams get bigger as well, I think it's probably harder to get to do what you want if you're not in it.
Yeah, maybe.
Right. So it'll be interesting. Yeah, there's a lot going on.
Yeah.
All the time. And the fun thing is we're only ever seeing the stuff that they worked on a long time ago.
Yes.
And that's
true.
That's the interesting thing.
Exactly.
There are, I'm sure the people working on Nexo, there are people whose favorite design we'll never ever see because it ended a year earlier.
Exactly.
Than expected, and they already designed those things.
That's it. Your scenes cut from the movie.
That's right. Yes. But I've already told everyone I'm in the movie. Yeah. Of course, Lego designers haven't told anyone anything.
No, exactly. It all works out.
Because Lego's got good lawyers. That's what it comes down to.
No, that was fun. I'm glad somebody asked us. But I don't remember who was asked us about the Mighty Micros. But
I feel terrible.
It was a while ago now.
Yes.
But it was fun to actually give us the impetus to look at this in more detail. And I wouldn't have even thought that there was that much there to talk about. I was like,
no,
is there a lot here? But
I think we were like, this is going to be a 30-minute episode, maybe.
And we're over an hour.
Yeah.
Wow. We can talk about anything. Anyway, yeah, that was cool. Let us know what you guys thought. Head over to breakingdads.com. There'll be probably some minimal show notes for this one, but let us know what Mighty Micros you liked. Why'd you like them? Where you hope they continue going with these kinds of things.
Have you built any custom Mighty Micros?
Yes.
I have not looked to see if there are any out there.
No, it never even occurred to me. But
I don't know if it's a format that encourages building or if it's a format that's almost exclusively in the hands of children, which is not a bad thing either.
No. All right. Until next time, I've been James.
And I'm still Jeff.